Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing a fish room tour, walking through all the tanks and telling you what's in the tanks pretty much. And maybe sometime
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing.
Maybe. And then maybe sometime in the future we'll do like a tank by tank description, well, just like a focus on one tank or one species at a time. But for today, we're just going to tour the whole fish room. So I'm going to turn the camera around, or you will. So this is the start of the fish room. When you walk in, it's to the right side. Down there in that 20 long over there, there's a bunch of cribenzas, probably about 200. If I was to take a guess, maybe 150, I don't know. And then in this 10-gallon, there's some daisy blue rice fish. Those down there, they're both bred by us. In this tank, there's a bunch of pygmy, Okefenokee pygmy sunfish. We got these from a friend of mine. I actually traded for them because my mother wanted them. They don't move around a whole lot. There's one right there, but you can't really see them because they kind of just sit on the bottom the whole day. And then this 10-gallon tank, there's 3 male cribenzas that we got a bunch of cribenzas and we grew them up, and those are just some 3 males that we aren't breeding. And then at the top there, in that 20 long, on the outside there's a bunch of, I think those are orange African cichlids growing out, and then in the tank there's 2 Synodontis ocellifer catfish that have to come out soon. And this is an empty tank, either going to be used for breeding white clouds or something, or growing out some extra babies. Alright, so over here is the Discus tank. There's 10 Discus, 2 checkerboards, 1 Marlboro red, a white leopard, red scribbled, pigeon blood, silver, German wonder, blue diamond, 2 dark angels. No, 1 dark angel and a pigeon blood blue Discus, and 2 Synodontis ocellifer, and then there's 4 baby cribenzas in there for no specific reason at all.
They got lost.
Yeah, they were left in the tank when we transitioned it to Discus. 25-gallon. There are, I can't remember, 5 angelfish. There's a pair of angelfish in there, which I'll show you their babies after. There's a couple cherry barbs, I think 4 male cherry barbs, some bloodfin tetras, and some threadfin rainbows, and a hill stream loach in there. Oh yeah, and there's a clown pleco in there. So down here are our water bridges. They're 10-gallon tanks connected by PVC tubes that the water flows through, and the canister filter for them is right here. It's an Oasis filter, and it has a heater in the canister filter. What?
Cherry barb.
A bunch of cherry barbs. I'd say there's like 13, 14 baby cherry barbs that we bred ourselves, and they're the babies growing up. In here, there's 1 daisy blue ricefish adult, and in the breeder net right here, there's a bunch of threadfin rainbow babies, which I don't know how old they are right now.
And eventually those daisy blues are going to go. A couple of them are going to go in there, right?
I think so.
So we can keep breeding.
Yeah. This one has 1 female cribenzas in here. This one had a female cribenzas and a male albino cribenzas, but I think there's only a female cribenzas in there right now. I think she killed the male. Pretty sure. Because he was swimming right here the other day. In here is a pair of the threadfin rainbows that keep breeding, but recently they stopped breeding. I think it's out of their breeding season now. And then in the last tank, there's a bunch of Amazon swords growing out. So over here, there is a tank that was set up not that long ago. We set up because my mother received a baby axolotl as one of her replacements, and she didn't think she'd ever get him. So she's in here. She's kind of hard to see because she's like that big. But she's in there. She got a bunch of decorations, and this is a 20 high.
She likes to hide in that hut.
Yeah, she hides a bunch. And down there are a bunch of my worm cultures. You can see a really nice one here. Oh, right here. These are Walter worms. And I have a bunch of worm cultures, actually. For those of you who have been watching my channel, I have a bunch of worms. You'll see quite a few of them in this video. Some of them are actually outside the fish room. But I have Walter worms, banana worms, Walter worms, microworms, banana worms. I have a culture of white worms here. They're kind of hard to see. And then down low, I have warm white worms, regular white worms. And I just recently started a really big culture of microworms. I got like 5 or 6 of these. I actually think I got 6 of these containers. I found them at the dollar store. And I made a video of me setting up this culture, actually. And you can see that all the stuff along the sides are a bunch of tiny worms. So I have a really nice big culture now of microworms. And I'm going to set up other cultures that are this big. I just want to see how they go. So moving over to our workbench that has came to be a fish table. In here are 6 really, really dark blue shrimp. From Danny Washing. You can check him out on YouTube. He has a song called Glass Box Hero. And he also has some really cool aquascapes too. And then we just have some random stuff on here, not that important. Baby brine shrimp. Oh, you can see that. Baby brine shrimp. This is the Zis brine shrimp, but anything works for babies. They're really, really small, but there's a bunch of them here. I would say that there's 30 of them left. The parents started eating them, so we took the parents out. But these are black marble angelfish babies. They're super, super small. They were born like not that long ago.
Actually, you can see that one swimming around.
Yeah, if you look hard enough,
on top of the
you can see one.
terracotta vase.
And then down under the workbench, I have a culture of white worms, and then there's 3 10-gallon tanks with Grinda worms in them. These are tanks that don't hold water, so I just use them for some Grinda worms. The bottom 3 tanks here, these are some Dumbo Dark Dragon guppies that we got from Maine's Tails, Fur, and Fins. And we got some adults, and the adults have had all of these babies. And there's some really nice males in there so far. So those are some Dumbo Dark Dragons. In that tank, they're all hiding except for that one. There's some red, I think they're called Berlin swordtails. I believe there's 5 of them in there. Then over here, these fish are actually on our Get Gil store, along with the guppies that I showed a minute ago. These are some Dalmatian mollies, and you can see them. The really dark ones are the adults, and then all the tiny ones are the babies. And there's a bunch of babies in there so far. This tank, this is a 40 breeder. The ones I just showed you were 20 highs. But this is a 40 breeder. I don't know if I'll be able to show them, but there's an axolotl right here. And there's 3 axolotls. 2 of them are really big. One of them's smaller. And we got 2 of these from a lady that is not that far from us. And the other one we got online. Here is the, I guess the main African cichlid tank. It's not the breeding tank. It's the main growing out tank. I would say there's about 80 Obi peacocks in here. In this tank. Well, in the tank. And then on the side here, these came from a Damasceni, but I think she might have crossed with an OB, so they look very similar to the regular OBs. And in here, there's some pure OB babies. Up here, there's some German ribbon fin guppies that I got from Rose Aquatics. There's a really, really fat female. There's only a pair in here, but that really fat female will not give birth. She's been that fat for so long. And the male is in the back. Oh, he's right by that heater. He's got a really nice orange tail and then ribbon fins. And then there was a bunch of cherry shrimp in here, but there's not as many anymore because we shipped out a ton of them. And then that's a 10-gallon. The next tank here is a 20 long. And there are 5 false July cories in here, and then 1 stir-by cory. So my mother originally got 4 of them, and the 4 are the bigger ones. The 4 original ones are the bigger ones. And then recently she got 2 from Benson's Fish Room, and they're smaller, but actually one of them's a stir-by. I don't know where it is. It's down there, actually. So yeah, that's a 20 long. And there's a bunch of pond snails in some of these tanks. And we try and label the tanks as best as we can. In this tank, there's some chocolate bristlenose plecos that we got. I think my mother got them off of eBay, but I know that Stephen P. 2003 has some bristlenose plecos that he bred. So they have some pleco caves, some plants, some driftwood. There's one right on that log there. It's not
hard to show up on the wood.
Not focusing, but there's also one on that filter. I know the back of this tank is really, really bright on camera. Wow.
This shows the white wall.
But there's one right on the tank there. I mean, on the sponge filter. So I think there's 8 of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
8 or 9 of them in there. And there's 2 of them that are really, really big. All right, top here, there's albino carbensis. There's a baby right here on top of the wood. You can kind of see him on camera right there. The male is right in there. You can kind of see him. I'm not sure where the female is, but this is a 20 long, and there's a pair of albino carbensis in here. They recently had babies, but there's only like a couple babies left. Like I showed you one over there. There's 2 on the sponge filter, but there's not many left. There are some African cichlids. There's a bunch of orange ones and a couple blue ones in there. These are the smaller ones, so these aren't available yet. But the ones right next to them, well, there's some grindleworm cultures right on top of the tank. But the ones right here are super big. And I think these are the ones that are on the Get Gills store. So yeah, super big. Well, not full grown, but pretty big for their size. Down low, that's my peppered cory tank. There's some really small babies in this. Hang on this. These are fluval breeder boxes. Hang on the sides. They're powered by air and air only, and it recirculates the water from the tank, and then it flows out here. And we have a bunch of these because they're really, really nice. But I have some small babies hatching out from some moss in this one. And then in here, I have about 18 to 21 bigger babies. They're getting pretty big. I gotta move them out up into a 10-gallon that's in my room. But they're pretty big so far, which is nice. Down on the bottom there is some long-fin zebra danios and 4 white clouds in there. These were in our outdoor pond, but we moved them in, obviously, for the winter because we're in New York and it gets pretty cold in the winter time. Over here are my platinum rice fish. These past tanks that I've been showing are 20 highs. And so I'm not sure how many platinum rice fish are down there. I would say about 8. And then there's 2 guppy babies. So not much else to that tank. It's pretty bare, honestly. There are a bunch of carbensis babies with their adults. If I put my hand up here, a bunch of them will probably come. Yep. So they're getting pretty big, and they're still with their mother and father. I don't know if they're out right now. The father's back there. I'm not sure where the mother is. But I think there's about, I would say there's like 50 babies in there or something close to that. And that's a 20 high. And then up here is a 20 long. There's a bunch of ember tetras. And they had babies, so there's like 2 additional ones that have survived. And there's a male and female albino longfin bristlenose. The male we got from Peplin Creek Aquatics, and then the female we got from Stephen P. 2003. I don't know where she is, but they have tons of hiding spots, so they always hide.
Yeah, she likes the inside of that small vase.
Yeah. So this is the 20 long. And then over here are my blue Moscows. There's actually a ton of babies in here. And then there's some really nice orange pumpkin shrimp that I got from Small World Aquatics. You can see that there's a baby guppy in there. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but and there's also some orange shrimp on the walls. So it's a really nice tank. In here, I have my Vienna guppies that I got from Liquid Zoo Only Fins. That's one of the males. And I have a couple mollies in here. They're only going to be in there temporarily. And there's some pregnant female Vienna guppies. There's one up there. I have 4 orange Venezuelan corays. And then there's a pair of apistogrammas. There's some metalhead guppies and then also some blue dragon guppies. You're not supposed to cross them. And they aren't, I would reason to say that they're not crossing. But I do have to take some of them. I do have to take them out. That's one of my adults, but there's some really nice males in here. That's a male. He's got some really nice markings on him. So I'm happy with this tank. There's a bunch of guppies. It's not unreasonably overstocked. It's not like perfectly stocked either. Then here's some food that I got from Small World Aquatics. You can see what it's made of if that's showing on camera, but she sent this to me, and these are for baby snails and some shrimplets, so those are nice. And then this is one of my vinegar eel cultures. This is my first vinegar eel culture, and I actually take a bunch out of this. That's why it's a good of the way gone. I have to top this off. You can do that with dechlorinated water, but since mine is so like watered down, I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar to them. Then I have another vinegar eel culture, 2 more vinegar eel cultures here. These ones are done a little bit differently than the other 2. And then here, not maple Cheerios, they are tubifex worms. At the top, there's going to be 9 5.5 gallons.
Yep.
In the center, there's 4 10 gallons, and on the bottom, there's going to be 4 10 gallons. So the top is going to be for shrimp because there's a convention next year that are really looking for shrimp and betas. So there's going to be 9 shrimp tanks on the top. And then the 8 10 gallons between these 2 shelves, those are going to be for grow outs. So that'll be super cool. And I think that's it for the fish room tour. Here. So yeah, I think that there was 37 or 47 fish tanks in here.
I don't know.
But now there's 17 more, so who knows how many there are actually. Yeah, 38 before the rack, and there's going to be 17 on the rack. So that's going to be 55 fish tanks in here, and then there's a bunch upstairs. So, yep, a bunch of fish tanks. But a couple of these fish and some of these worms are up on our Gift store. The link will be in the description. So, yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope that you all have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.